RuneScape is full of hundreds of unusual ways to make money, methods that very few people do yet still produce some incredible GP per hour. Over the past 5 years, we've tracked every single one of these methods and placed them on the unusual money-making leaderboards, which, by the way, has had a makeover. On this new and improved spreadsheet, you can now find the live, current grand exchange prices of items compared to what they were when I showed them off in the video. The handy current profitability column shows you exactly how much money you could be making doing this method today. Super useful. We are adding more to that list in this video, including multiple million plus GP an hour methods and one that honestly feels kind of illegal. A couple of years ago, we covered an unusual money-making method that just felt illegal. On top of Waterbirth Island is a kid called Ask Aladdin. The name probably rings a bell to all of you. He's involved in multiple quest storylines in the Fremnik area and is the one who gives you a pet rock. Usually you find him at the entrance of Relica, but he can also be found up here. So why is he here and what does he want? Well, he wants you to sell him alcohol. Yeah, he will buy a keg of beer from you for 500 GP, 700 GP if you completed the Fremnik trials. You can buy a keg of beer from Thora the Barkeep in the Relica Long Haul for 325 GP, which means you can profit selling alcohol to a child on RuneScape. But here's the thing, something was added to the game not too long ago which makes this method way faster and way more profitable, which means it's time to make more money illegally efficiently. The last time we tried this, you needed to buy out the kegs of beer in Relica, then take the ship to Waterbirth Island. Run all the way around to the Waterbirth Island dungeon entrance, run all the way over to the gates, use a pet rock to get through the gates, run all the way to those rock barriers where you use a rune throwing axe, go up the ladder until you finally get to Ask Aladdin to sell some beers. A long and painful run. You no longer have to do that because a shortcut has been added to Waterbirth Island, which lets you climb straight up to the top of the mountain, giving you immediate access to Ask Aladdin. That entire run through Waterbirth Dungeon no longer needs to be done, and you don't need to carry a pet rock with you or bring rune thrown axes. This time around, we're also using the Waterbirth Island teleport on the Lunar Spellbook and the Fremnik Sea Boots, which gives us unlimited teleports to Relica. So here's the updated route. Starting with 50k, I'm buying out all 20 kegs of beer from Thora's shop. Then I'm hopping worlds and buying 4 more. Those kegs of beer cost me 9.6k. Now I'm teleporting to Waterbirth Island. Each teleport costs me 338 GP in runes. Then I'm climbing up the shortcut, which requires 85 agility, and I'm running over to speak to Ask Aladdin. He has some really funny dialogue up here. He'll ask you if you want to sell him some kegs of beer for 700 GP. You'll ask him, aren't you a little young to be drinking so much? He'll respond that he's a Fremnik and has earned the right to drink and ask you to stop being a little bitch and sell him the beer. Now the best part is you can sell him one beer at a time, or you can sell him every single beer you have in your inventory at once, which I find hilarious. He bought all 20 of my kegs for 17,500 GP, which means that per inventory, I'm making 7,881 GP. And it only takes like a minute tops to teleport back to Relica, buy out another inventory of beers, teleport back to Waterbirth, and sell them to Ask Aladdin. This updated route is probably 7 to 8 times faster than running through Waterbirth Island dungeon like you had to do before. While this method is funny and does seem more like a joke than anything, it's actually kind of good. After 1 hour of doing this, I ended up with 586k. Remove the 50k we started with and around 30k we spent in teleports, and we're looking at a final profit total of 506k. Over 500k an hour doing this. That's actually amazing. Here's the best thing about all of this. No other players are involved in this method. The beers are bought from Thora and sold to Ask Aladdin. There's no grand exchange involved at all. Even an Iron Man could do this. Prices will never fluctuate. Guys, as illegal as this method feels, I could not recommend doing it more. Today's video is sponsored by Manscaped and their super sleek special edition version of the Handyman called Rocket Man. The Handyman is the next thing you need in your grooming arsenal. This sleek and compact face shaver will give you the chiseled jawline that the Falador hairdresser never could. It's been engineered with a unique dual blade. The shaver comes with a standard foil shaver and a long hair trimming blade that manages up to 3 days of beard growth. This thing will take care of any patchy spots and leave you with a smooth, clean finish. We're talking going from a farming patch with weeds to a super smooth composted patch. It comes equipped with Manscaped's skin-safe technology that reduces nicks and cuts, so you know you're in good hands. I really like that the shaver is super compact, so you can fit it into a gym bag or a travel bag. It's waterproof, which makes cleanup quick and easy, and it packs up to a 60-minute runtime per charge, giving you plenty of shaves without having to worry about running out of power. This shaver just does everything so well. With Valentine's Day coming up and all of you needing to clean up for that special date you'll be going on, if you don't have plans, don't worry, I'll be taking you to the Blue Moon Inn. Make sure to grab the Handyman Rocket Man version today. Use my promo promo code SOUPRS and you'll get 20% off plus free international shipping at checkout. That's 20% off plus free shipping with promo code SOUPRS at manscaped.com. Link as usual in the description. If you're feeling broken, don't worry. Tons of items are on Runescape as well, the best example being Barra's armor. The good news is broken items can almost always be fixed, and usually for some profit. If we search for the word broken on the Grand Exchange, you can see just how many items there are that you can fix up to make some money. Today, we're going to be focusing on items that were recently added to the game with the addition of Varlamore, and that's the Blood Moon and Blue Moon armor. Obtained from the lunar chest after defeating the Moons of Peril, the armor is degradable, just like Barra's equipment. At some point, after a lot of use, it will turn into a broken version of the item, and that's where this method begins. I'm going to purchase these broken pieces of armor, repair them, sell them, and hopefully profit. Now, that's a bit easier said than done because doing this requires you to have two things: patience and a high smithing level. Let me break it down for you.
She been in the bed for she bottled the bed. Don't worry
if you wanted, you could bring a broken piece of the armor over to Bob and Lumbridge or Dunstan and Berthorpe, and they would repair it to you for a flat fee of 1.5 million GP. But that's way too much and leaves zero room for profit. In fact, you're losing money doing that. This is where the armor stand in your player-owned house comes in. By repairing it yourself at this stand, you'll get a discount on the repair cost. For every smithing level you have, the repair cost goes down by 7.5k. So if you have 99 smithing, you'll save over 742k on the repair cost. Now, I have two accounts, both with 90 smithing, so the max I'll be saving is 675k. But that's still plenty enough for me to profit on these moon equipments. So the smithing level is one part of this. The other part, like I mentioned earlier, is the patience part. 90% of the time, this isn't going to be instant profit. As with most methods, you want to buy low and sell high to maximize profit. For example, as you can see here, the insta-sell price of broken Blood Moon tassets is 10.362 mil. That's the price we're going to buy at. Now, one thing you do have to be careful of is making sure that after repairing the armor and selling it, there's still money to be made. If you buy a broken Blood Moon helm for 300k, repair it for 800k, then sell it for 1 million GP, you're losing 100k. So before purchasing anything, double check the margins of all the items to make sure you don't lose any money. My plan is to put offers in early in the morning, let them hopefully fill throughout the day, and then sell them overnight. On day one, I bought a total of 33 broken moon pieces for 75.9 million GP. Repairing all the items at the armor stand cost 27.225 million GP, so the combined cost was 103.14 million. I then sold all the armor for 107.7 million GP. Here's a nice little breakdown of everything. As you can see, our final profit off buying broken armor, repairing it, and reselling it was 4.6 million. On day two, I bought 38 items and after repairing them made 3.28 million. Keep in mind that I'm doing this without 99 smithing. I'm only 90, and those 9 smithing levels probably would add up to an extra 3, 4, 500k profit per day doing this. Also, something I realized I didn't do is boost my smithing level before repairing, since that will count towards the repair cost, making you more money. One of the great things about this method is that you don't really have to do much. Just passively buy the armor, spend about 3 minutes repairing them, sell them, and you're done. Again, this really comes down to prices. Someday it'll be worth it, some days it won't, but when it's worth it, it's really good. Ever since unlocking the Huntsman kit from doing Hunter Rumors, we found out so many different ways to make money. We made a couple million GP buying butterfly jars and made over 1.4 mil an hour selling moonlight moths. Well, I was made aware of another moneymaker involving the Huntsman kit with very few requirements and high profit potential, so I had to try it out. We are heading out into the deep wilderness with our Huntsman kit for this method, but don't worry, you won't risk a dime. If you didn't know, there's a spell on the lunar spellbook called Hunter Kit. It requires 71 magic to cast. Every time you cast it, you receive 8 items: a noose wand, butterfly net, bird snare, rabbit snare, teasing stick, unlit torch, box trap, and an impling jar. Each cast of this spell generates about 1.2k worth of GP if we were to sell the items on the Grand Exchange. The large majority of this comes from the impling jar, which for a long time has been the most expensive item you can get from this spell. Usually what you do is cast the spell at a bank everything, and repeat. But this involves having the runes to cast the spell, and you waste a bit of time banking. We can skip all of this by casting the spell at the Fountain of Rune in the wilderness. This fountain gives you unlimited runes when you're next to it, so I don't need any earth or astral runes to cast the Hunter Kit spell. Now, here's where the Huntsman Kit comes in. Since the kit can store every single item you get from the Hunter Kit spell, all you have to do is cast the spell, open up the kit, click your Huntsman Kit to deposit all the items, and repeat. That's it. If you time it correctly, you can open the kit and deposit the items on the same tick, so you'll never actually see them in your inventory. By rapid firing out the Hunter Kit spell and depositing the items in your Huntsman Kit, you're banking those 1.2k worth of items every few seconds. methods, and it's really going to add up. And guess what? Since the Huntsman kit is an untradeable item, if you somehow die up here, you won't lose it or the items inside of it, effectively making this a zero risk method. After 1 hour, I had cast the Hunter Kit spell 982 times, and all of the items were safe and sound inside of my Huntsman kit. Now, to withdraw all the items, all you have to do is change your left click on the Huntsman kit to empty, then just rapid fire empty out all the items and deposit them into your bank like this. It really takes no time at all since you can do this very quickly. Only took me around 7 minutes. Alright, now here comes the best part. After checking out the current buy prices on the Grand Exchange, I listed all of them for a good price, waited for a few hours, and boom. The majority of the items had sold for a total of 978k. I quickly insta-sold the items that didn't manage to sell earlier, and that puts me at a final profit total of 1,044,000 GP. Over 1 million GP an hour casting the Hunter Kit spell with the Huntsman kit at the Fountain of Ruin. For a quick rebuild moneymaker or Gillenor Games challenge, that's pretty damn good. This would not be an unusual money-making video without a hop and shop method. These methods involve buying out items from a shop, hopping worlds, buying them out again, and repeat. Without fail, there are always shops in this game that are ready to offer us some great GP per hour, and today is no different. We are heading to the island of Natisnot, where I'll be raiding Jofradir Mortstadter's crafting supply shop. This shop features 6 items, all of which make us profit when selling them back to the Grand Exchange. The best thing is, every single item here is a high volume item, which means they constantly sell every day on the Grand Exchange because, well, they're all very common items that everyone uses. And they all sell for super cheap. 1 GP each for the hammer, needle, and thread, 2 GP for a ball of wool, 6 GP for the knife, and 16 GP for the bronze axe. The price barely goes up as well when buying them since the shop has a change rate of only 1%. It also has a super fast restock. Every 6 seconds the shop stocks an item, so you can actually spend quite a bit of time on one world buying out the items since it keeps restocking so quickly. Oh, and this method gets even better because Jofradir's shop is right next to a bank chest. She pretty much lives inside of the Natisnot bank area, so you're never more than a few tiles away from being able to bank everything. It's super quick. For this method, I start off buying the 10 knives and hammers. The threads and needles stack in your inventory, which is great. Then I buy out as many bronze axes as I can. Bank all of that quickly, then go back to the shop, buy out the rest of the bronze axes, and then buy out all the balls of wool. Since there's 100 of them, you'll need to spend a bit of time buying all of them out. But that's perfect, because by the time you're done with that, a lot of the other items will have restocked to about 4 or 5, so before hopping to the next world, you can buy another inventory worth of the other items. Once you do that, you can hop to the next world and repeat the process. I started out with 50k but ran out of GP towards the end, so I had to take out an extra 15k to be able to continue the method. Pretty simple. After 1 hour, here's everything I bought. Over 1400 of every item except for balls of wool, which I had bought over 8800 of. Now, as usual, if there's one thing I'd recommend you do with any moneymaker, it's to make sure you sell it for a bit higher than usual. You could just reduce the price by 5% and instantly sell it. You will make good profit, but you're losing out on potentially hundreds of thousands of GP by doing that. The only thing is you have to be a bit patient with how long it takes to sell. That's totally up to you. I listed all the items on the GE, and over the course of 3 hours, the buy offers trickled in, and eventually I had 6 beautiful green bars in my Grand Exchange. The balls of wool were by far the biggest moneymaker. We sold all of them for 459k. We made a total of 1,044,000 GP. Subtract the 61k we used to buy everything, and we're looking at 983k profit in 1 hour of hop and shopping from the Natisnot crafting shop. Almost 1 million GP an hour, actually so good. Add that to the list of the 30 plus 1 million GP an hour methods we've now found on this series. One of the more frequent requests I get for this series is to show off some early game moneymakers, specifically ones that you can do on a new, fresh account. To start off, buy some necklaces of passage and some dueling rings from the Grand Exchange. Set your left click on the dueling ring to teleport you to Castle Wars, and your left click on your necklace of passage to teleport you to the outpost. Now, go ahead and teleport to the outpost and run just a bit northeast until you hit this fenced-in area called the Apple Orchard. Go ahead inside and run over to this barrel. It's going to be our moneymaker for this method. Surprisingly, barrels go for around 1000 GP each and have a fairly consistent daily volume. Some people might have them as their collectible item, but they're also used in multiple quest storylines, so there's always some kind of demand for them. Now, if you want to do this the lazy way, you can pick up a barrel, wait 15 seconds, and another barrel will spawn. You can keep doing this until you have a full inventory. Or you can just hop worlds and have another barrel. You can have another barrel. What the f? You can have another barrel ready for you to pick up right away. Obviously, this way is a lot faster. After a couple of minutes, you'll have yourself a full inventory of barrels. Use your dueling ring to get to Castle Wars Bank, deposit all your barrels, teleport back to the outpost, and repeat this entire process. A very simple moneymaker that any account can do, even a level 3. What's also great about this is that since run energy was recently changed so it doesn't drain as fast at low levels, you won't really have to worry about your run energy, which is always a bonus. After 1 hour, I had collected 392 barrels. I put them up for sale in the Grand Exchange for 997 GP each, and after around 5 hours, they all sold for 388k. So while they did take a bit to sell, this is still a solid way to get some starter GP. This alone could fund a ton of your early game, which is really nice. I quickly just wanted to go over the updated unusual money making spreadsheet. As you can see here, we have some brand new information on the right that shows the current price of the items, the price of the items at the time I made the video, and the difference between the two. There's also this super useful current profitability section which shows you exactly how much money you'd be making if you were to try it today. As you can see, the number one method, limestone, makes you 80% less money than when I did in my video. Dwarf cannons are 1% lower, but that means you'd still be making great money. Even something like mithril seeds, which are 26% lower at the moment, would still make you about 2.3 million GP an hour, which is incredible. Then we have the methods which at the moment actually make you more money than when I tested it in my videos. Something like selling javelins to the javelin store in Apatol makes you 23% more money now than when I tested it in my video. Check this one out. Mine shields currently make you 146% more money than when I tested it. The majority of these methods still work and in some cases make you more money than when I did it, and this spreadsheet proves that. I hope you guys like the changes to the spreadsheet. I'm really happy with how it all looks.
If you have any unusual moneymakers you'd like me to try out, feel free to send them to me in the brand new Unusual Moneymakers channel in my Discord. Just click on this channel, create a new ticket, and submit your moneymaker. I'm excited to see what you guys send my way. Maybe you'll end up on the Unusual Moneymaking leaderboard. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.